So, Wife Material Podcast, episode 25, Sex, Sandwich, Silence. So those are just the three main topics, right? Three main things. Men don't ask for too much, just those three things. Now, of course, stating it, sex, sandwich, and silence, might sound, problematic because of, like those are pretty strong words, right? Like sex, right? Doesn't sound like there's love, respect, you know, you know, anything extra to just the word sex, just sex, right? Then sandwich, right? It's like, okay, sandwich. It doesn't sound like anything more than that, other than just making a sandwich. Like if you have no other skills or anything like that, other than being able to put a sandwich together, right? And then silence. The idea of like, oh, you want me to be quiet, not to have an opinion, not to speak, just do what you want, and I can't. I have no say. I can't do anything. Just want me to be eye candy, to be seen, not heard, and blah blah blah. Right? It's easy to always try to make these three things, sex, sandwich, and silence, out to be a negative, right? Out to be something bad. It's because you're trying to take it at face value, right? You're trying to take these three words as that's the full definition of what is expected. It's like incorrect. When we talk about sex, it's a broad statement. It's referring to being feminine, right? If you're a female woman, right, act like it. That's what we mean by sex. Act like a woman, right? Act like what you're supposed to be, right? If you're a woman, act like it. If you're a woman who wants to be with a man, you're supposed to act like a woman that's with a man. Not act like you're a woman, not act like you're with a friend or another woman, right? Don't try to treat your man like he's your female friends, right? There's a reason why you have female friends, right? Or should have. That way, when you want to interact with somebody on female subjects, right? Female activities, you have female friends for that, right? Your husband is supposed to be for all the activities that require a male for those activities, like sex and dating and other activities, or he's taller than you, so he can reach for something for you, and so on and so forth, right? So sex is not just sexual act, right? It's more than that. It's being a woman, right? So when a man says sex, sandwich, silence, when he's mentioning sex, he's referring to the fact that he wants you to be a woman. And if you don't want to have sex with your man, there's a problem there, because that shouldn't be something. This should be a thing, right? It'd be weird to be with a man and not want to have sex, right? Just like it'd be weird for a man to be with a woman and not want to have sex, right? Now, sex, love, and reproduction are different things, right? So it's just a matter of understanding the differences. So when we mention sex, we're referring to all the different things. We're referring to love. So when we say we want sex, we also want the love that comes with it, the respect that comes with it. We want everything that's supposed to come with it. The loyalty, right? The whole don't cheat on us, right? Just like you don't want us to cheat on you, don't cheat on us, right? Fair is fair, right? Because it's hypocritical to not to dislike the idea of somebody cheating, like a man, for example. Women love mentioning men cheat, all right? But if you hate that, no woman should ever cheat. The other ones who like to mention the cheating thing the most. Therefore, we should never, ever, 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 ever hear the truth of women cheating, because women should never cheat, since they're so against it, right? Since they hate that idea so much. Since they hate it so much, they shouldn't do it, right? And you can say the same for guys as well, right? Vice versa. But the thing is that men don't cheat sexually, right? They cheat differently than that, because of what they provide to women is different than sex, right? Men don't provide sex to women. Women provide sex to men. Men provide money, security, and many other things. Just being a man is what a man provides to a woman, right? All the things that she can't do or don't want to do, a man does, right? And since a man can do so much, right? The things he can't do is very small, aka sex, sandwich, and silence, right? That's why our requirements, right, our standards are very simple because we don't require much. We already done a lot to obtain a lot of what we have, so we need very little of anything in return. Like we need very little. You know? Most of us guys are already tall, so we don't need a tall woman because we're already tall ourselves, right? Most women like tall men because tall men can reach stuff that they can't. So a woman wanting a guy who's taller is not just it's more of a need, right? It's more of a practical use because he's taller, he can reach stuff she can't. Right? Being bigger and stronger so he can carry things, including her if need be. And him being strong and tall is, obviously beneficial because he can pick her up and carry her, right? Especially, let's say you have to go through some dangerous area or like some water or something. He can pick you up and carry you, across the water, right? Let's say the water goes up to his waist high for him. The fact that he's carrying you, you're above the water. You're above the water. Now you don't have to go through the water because he's carrying you above it. If he was short, that'd be difficult because, the water wouldn't go to his waist. The water would go up to his chest or neck, right? But being tall, it, has its advantages. If, that's the reason why women want tall guys. It's for that practicality, right? That usefulness of situation like that. Plus, being a man being taller does come off intimidating. Sometimes there's an advantage to that when it comes to fighting. So a taller guy, especially a taller, bigger, stronger guy, tends to have an advantage against many other guys of a smaller size. Therefore, of course, a woman wants a bigger, taller guy because of that protection capability. And then there's the daddy thing, where it's like she feels like daddy's little girl when her man's bigger than her. It's in the fact that he does do a lot of the, providing and protecting and taking care of that she's used to her father doing. And now she has a taller man that makes her feel like she's a little girl again when she's a grown-ass woman. But that's for a different conversation because that's the psychology thing. But again, from a man's standpoint, the whole sex sandwich silence is that, it's like we don't ask for too much. It's like we want you to respect us, right? We want you to love us, respect us, right? Care for us. We want you to want to be with us, right? If you don't want to be with us, then, don't. Go do you. If you're willing to be with us for no reason or be with us just to use us, like we're human beings. As much as most women complain about being used, it'd be very hypocritical for them to do the same, right? To use. If you feel that men use you, then, and you get nothing out of it, don't be a hypocrite and use men and they get nothing out of it, right? Because two wrongs don't make a right, as they say. And I notice that a lot. There'll be women, they'll be like, oh, my standards are this, that, their loyalty, don't cheat on me, blah, 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 right? But then we hear why they don't have a man, why they're not in a relationship, is because they cheated, because they did this, that, the stuff that they said they don't want the man to do, they actually did. And the messed up part is the guys that she did those things to didn't do those things to her. Like, they didn't cheat on her. They were loyal, faithful, and all this stuff she says she wants, they were. But she did all the unfaithful stuff, right? She did all the bad stuff. So that's kind of ironic that the person who does the wrong things wants to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't do the wrong things. But in their past, they have done wrong to the person who never did nothing wrong. That's ironic, right? But anyway, that's for a different conversation. So back to understanding, it's like when we say sex, it's not just sex. How you smell, how you dress. There's a lot of factors. Just being a woman, just being sexy, or being desirable, right, is an important factor, right? You don't want to lose your husband's, right, your man's, interest in you. You don't want him to wander off, right, wander on. You don't want his eyes wandering around, looking elsewhere, because you know what he's going to see elsewhere, right? He's going to see sex elsewhere. He's going to see beautiful women, sexy women. He's going to see, other opportunities. And you need to make sure that he already has the best opportunity he can get. And you have to constantly remind him of that, right? Not by words, but literally by how you act, how you dress, right? For example, a lot of women like to say this nowadays. Modern women, talking about they don't dress for guys, they dress for themselves and stuff like that. But it's like, but the thing is, it's the same thing. Dressing for a guy is for you. You dress a certain way so you can get the attention for dressing the way you dress. It makes no sense to say you dress for yourself when you don't even see yourself 99% of the time. The only time you see how you look is when you look in a reflection or in a mirror. That's the only time. The only time you see yourself is when you see yourself in a reflection. Other than that, the rest of the world sees you. So you don't wear what you wear for you. You wear it for everyone who sees you. And how they react to you based off of what they see is for you. So it's not the outfit that's for you. It's how people look at you and how people behave around you. That's what you want. That's what's for you. But anyway, that's for another topic. So, again, sex, I don't want to stay on this topic too long. It should be, let's move on to the sandwich portion, right? Because you get the idea. It's like, you want to make your man happy. You want your man to make you happy, right? And it's vice versa, right? Women should want sex too. That's also ironic how women nowadays, I should say, not women of the past, but women nowadays, modern women, let me use that word specific. Modern women is different from just a woman. Women of the past were a little better, different breed, I'll say. Modern women act like sex is a problem. It's like sex is not, it's not something that they themselves receive or enjoy. If you don't enjoy sex, ladies, you're doing it wrong then. You need to fix that. Because you should be enjoying sex as much as, a man does, right? Especially if you're having sex with men, as opposed to women, to each their own, but this should be about men and women. Then you should be having, should be enjoying the sex that you have with your man, especially your husband. Should never, ever be a situation where you're not. But let's continue with the sandwich portion. So, sandwiches, not literally making a sandwich, but sandwiches are delicious, healthy, not a bad idea. I always like the idea of, like, it's good if a woman knows how to eat healthy. If my woman has a healthy eating habit and it works good for her, it keeps her, healthy and strong, attractive, and blah blah blah, right? Well, I want to eat the same thing, right? So there's benefits to that. So knowing how to eat healthy, knowing how to cook and stuff like that are useful. That's where the whole sandwich comes in. It's just more so of like, we don't ask for too much. We just ask to have the three things we that lets us function in life. Food, that would be sandwich, sex, right? That will help us relieve stress, as well as, just make us happy, make us feel appreciated, loved, especially if, after we give you sex, right? We have sex with you, and then you're giving us praise for it, then, boosting our ego, if you want to call it, or self-esteem, or whatever you want to call it, right? Just making us feel like we did something good, because men are about accomplishments. So, there's some men who put in extra effort in the bedroom because they want that credit, right? They want the woman to be like, oh my God, he was amazing in bed, because that's an achievement. Men derive their happiness from achieving things, from being able to say that they did something, that other people care about, as opposed to, something being done to them that made them happy, right? Made them feel good. That's more of a woman thing. Women derive their happiness from their experiences, the stuff they experience in life, being in a good relationship, raising, having a baby, raising the baby, right? Having a good family, good upbringing. That's why women tend to be the ones that bring up, family issues. They're the ones who tend to have more of the issues, like mommy and daddy issues, more than a man does. Most guys, the bullshit they go through their childhood, if they had a shitty childhood, tends to make them stronger. To them, it was just shit they had to deal with to get to the point in their lives where they can make things better. So what happens is when they get older, they tend to wanna do do a lot to make things better for those around them. Right? That's why most men, especially if they're single fathers, tend to be better at raising kids than women are, because women, unfortunately, bad life experiences tend to influence their way of thinking, the way of doing things. So, of course, negative things tend to come from that. And humans have more negative emotions than positive ones, and women are more emotional than men. Therefore, obviously, women will tap in and tend to be affected more by their negative emotions than their positive emotions. Men more logical, that men will realize, oh man, I'm getting into my negative emotions. I should stop that and try to find a positive outlet, find a way to solve my problem. If I feel sad or stressed out, find something to make me happy, right? Like playing video games, boxing, hobbies, whatever. Guys tend to have hobbies more than women do, because for us, when doing stuff makes us happy. For women, happiness has to be more of like, you gotta do things for them, give them things, and that tends to make them happy. Some women, if you feed them, makes them happy. If you give them, sex, makes them happy. If you give them attention or give them, compliments or positive feedback, or lie to them. Unfortunately, even lying to them makes them happy, very happy. Unfortunately, but yeah, that's part of the human psychology. But let's get back to the sandwiches. Just being able to, not just being able to, but the willingness to make sure that your man's eating. Make sure that that he has, good nourishment, that he's strong. If he's neglecting his health, you need to be his rock, right? You need to be there to be like, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating healthy. Take the initiative. If you gotta make him a sandwich for him to eat healthy, then you make him a sandwich so he can eat healthy. If you care about him. If you don't care about him, yeah, let him keep eating unhealthy, and then he'll die off, die from some type of heart disease or something, diabetes or something. If you don't care about him, which is, very heartless, very harsh not to care about someone you're supposed to care about. But if you care, that's where the sandwich comes in. That's showing that you care. Another thing that's really interesting, from my point of view as a man, especially with my male friends, it's normal for us to make sure that everyone eats. Like when I'm hungry, I by default feel that everyone around me is hungry. Like it's not just my hunger; we're all hungry. So then I will offer to purchase food for all of us. I'll make sure there's enough food to go around. That's just my instinct as a provider. You could say that's my provider instinct. All right, so be it. But it's just that's how I feel. If I feel hungry, I assume everyone else is also hungry. You know what I mean? Like if I'm living, like let's say I'm in a house with a whole bunch of people, right? Like I'm living with people or a roommate or something, or I'm on vacation or something, and I wake up, right? It's morning. I wake up. Everybody else wakes up. Logically, common sense is like, oh, we all just woke up. Obviously, we all should want breakfast, right? Because we all, went to sleep, and we woke up, and we didn't eat while we were asleep. So clearly now, we should have empty stomachs, so we should be wanting to eat. So that's just logical. But that's pretty obvious. But sometimes in the afternoon, like it'll be like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty much dinner time, and I noticed that I was like hanging out with a friend for like like maybe 3 to 4 hours. It's like it's nighttime. We've been hanging out for like 4 hours. You hungry? All right, bang. Let's order something, or I'll whip something up. I'll make sandwiches. Ironically, I do that. I do make sandwiches. I do eat sandwiches. Hoagies and stuff. So I wouldn't mind a woman making a sandwich for me. Right? I mean, I'm used to doing it myself, but I'm just saying I would appreciate it if it was done for me, because that just shows that they cared. Especially if they're really good at making sandwiches, that'd be awesome, right? All right, not much to say about the sandwich part other than it's just we expect you to care about our health, care about our happiness. A way to a man's heart is through his stomach, or something like that old saying. So feed us, don't leave us. Well, I can't come up with anything to rhyme with that, but it's like we don't ask for too much. At the same time, we don't need too much either. A lot of us guys are very minimalist by nature. We tend to need less of certain things. Obviously, when it comes to food, we tend to need to eat more because we need more energy. Because we do more work, more heavy lifting activities. Since we do more physical activities, we do require bigger meals than our non-male counterparts. And then it's like a high protein sandwich would be useful, because if I'm doing a lot of physical activity, I need the proteins to rebuild my muscles, as well as if I'm lifting weights, trying to stay in shape and be sexy for my woman, then a high protein sandwich would be good. So there's that. Moving on to the next topic. It's not much to say about sandwich other than you're doing it because you care. It's not no slavery or maid or like, oh, you just want a mother, or all this extra disrespectful bullshit that it's just like, it's not necessary. Like, if you don't want to do something for someone else, especially a man, then that's a you problem. Don't make it that's the man's problem that you don't do sandwiches. Like, no, if you don't do sandwiches or you don't do anything for a man, it's because that's you. That's a you thing. Look in the mirror and realize that it's you that has the issues, and you should fix it. If you want certain outcomes, if you want to be with a man, right? Just like a man wants to be with a woman, a man already understands that he has to do stuff, bring stuff to be with a woman, because women are human beings. Men know that. We understand that, obviously. But it's always weird that women act like men aren't human. Like men don't have feelings. Just because we control it and we talk about men not going around, expressing their feelings, not going around being emotional and this and that doesn't mean we don't have feelings. What we're saying is that we got to have control of it, because if we don't control our feelings, then our feelings control us. And if our feelings are controlling us, feelings are random. And most feelings, emotions, human emotions, there's more negative emotions than there are positive. So if I'm feeling an emotion, it's more likely negative, and that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for any human being to have negative emotions, especially not a man, because if a negative emotion makes us feel a certain type of way to a point where we end up being violent, we're too strong to be violent. An angry woman, throwing slaps or punches might be not that big of a deal, but a grown-ass man getting emotional, angry, and start throwing punches and slaps, right? That's going to be a problem. Someone's going to get hurt. So that's why, no, men should not express their feelings Right? Most feelings are negative, therefore those feelings will be physical. Which this, what I'm saying right now, it does segue into the silence part because of the fact that it's like, you know, silence is not about you can't speak or no one wants to hear you talk or no one cares about what you think or your opinions and stuff like that or what you have to say. No. Or your input. No. Your input, opinions, this and that, what you're thinking does matter. It's just we want to hear the positive stuff you have to say, not the negative stuff. Because the negative stuff usually is directed towards us anyway. And that's not cool. Like you wouldn't like us directing negative stuff towards you. So do it to us. Women tend to attack verbally. And that's known as verbal assault. That's no different from a physical assault. The effects are the same. Ironically, when somebody punches somebody, the impact of the hit is temporary. Like you'll feel it for a couple seconds and then the feeling will go away. But the psychological effect of getting hit lingers longer. Saying goes as if somebody says something negative to you, says a bad word to you, says something disrespectful to you, or makes fun of you, says something, mean to you. That has the similar, the aftermath effect of being touched, right? You didn't hit me physically, which mentally made me feel some type of way. No, you just mentally made me feel some type of way. So we skipped the whole physical part, and that's the thing with, hitting somebody and, physical assault and verbal assault. The end result is still the same. Right? The lingering psychological effect is what really hurts more than because I've been in a scenario where cause I've experienced this a couple of times where somebody said something to me and it did hurt my feelings, but at the same time I'm like, logically I'm like, but they were just words and I don't really care. Like I don't care about the words, but it did have an effect at the time because I was a little surprised when I heard the words and who said the words. It did affect me. It didn't last too long because ultimately I didn't care. It's like it was just words. It's not like the person hit me or something, right? Something where I could be like, oh man, I didn't like getting hit or something. But it could have been worse, right? It could have lasted longer, right? So the thing is that men do care what women think and have to say and whatnot, especially if it's positive. We love to hear positive things. We love to hear things like, we did a good job, we did this and we did that. We were great in bed and so forth and so on. Like we want to hear positive stuff, right? Positive reinforcement, right? Like I said before, guys are about achievement. So anytime we do something, like we fix something and you give us, praise for it, that makes us want to do that more and more things like it because of the fact that we can always get the praise, and that's a good thing, right? Part of why society exists the way it exists is because of that. It's because the iPhone exists because of that concept. Because the idea that people would appreciate what an iPhone can do is why the iPhone was built. It was built because of who was going to use it, right? The people who created the iPhone, that worked on the iPhone, was thinking about like, all right, who's going to be using this? How useful is this going to be to the people who buy the phone? And they thought about like what those types of people would want. Basically, what I mean by those type of people, pretty much anyone who wants a phone, right? Pretty much anybody. So it's like, and then gender, right? Male and female, who's more likely to need these features and this and third. So, and it's just a simple concept. It's like focusing on the end user who's going to use it is the motivation. And it's like, oh yeah, once we finish this product and put it out there, the response, which we expect it to be positive, is why we're doing it. We're doing it for the positive response. The other aspect, right? Financial compensation. This is why men work, right? This is why men do shitty jobs because of the paycheck, right? Because it's, because they have a justification for it. It's like, well, the paycheck is worth it. So I go through all this bullshit because the paycheck is worth it. Or, in some cases, the job is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the military don't pay that, that well. Good enough, but not as much as you would like. But, for some people, it's not about the paycheck. I'm not against that. You know what I mean? To each their own. If doing certain things is not about the paycheck, fine, to each their own. But I'll say 80% of the time, yeah, it's the paycheck. The only reason you'll deal with the bush is the paycheck. Same thing with dealing with a woman. The reason you'll deal with a, loud, disrespectful, shitty woman, or should say human being, because it's not, the shittiness is not because of the gender. The shittiness is because the person is a shitty person, regardless of the gender, right? Both men and women can be equally shitty, but in this, example, we're going with a woman being really shitty. The reason you'll tolerate it as a man is because, well, she's probably good in bed. We'll give it that way, right? Sex sandwich times. So if she's good in good when it comes to the sex, being sexy, having sex and all that stuff, then you'll use that as justification for the bullshit you go through dealing with her. Shouldn't be going through bullshit, but that's the reasoning behind why you would deal with the bullshit, because the sex is worth it. To each their own, right? Her sandwich making skills, right, might be worth it. And she's not that silent, which is the issue, right? Because she's always saying something negative, always talking down to you, always saying you're not doing enough, even though you probably do 90% of everything for her or for y'all in a relationship, but she'll still say you don't do enough, as if you're supposed to do way more than that. But oh well, right? But it's like, again, silence. It's like all we say is it's just don't speak ill of who you love, who takes care of you, right? What comes out of your mouth should be positive. Like criticism, pointing out issues and mistakes and stuff like that is important. Like for me personally, like if I'm wrong, I want to be corrected if I'm wrong, but you have to have the proof that I'm wrong. You have to be able to prove that I'm wrong, and so that way I can be corrected. Don't feel like I'm wrong. Don't hope that I'm wrong. That's the worst thing. When somebody wants you to be wrong, it's like, damn, I've experienced that many times in my life. That there's people who, even when I show them proof that I'm right, they want to be right so bad, which means they want me to be wrong so bad. Even though I have proof that I'm right, they want me to be wrong so bad that even with proof that they're wrong, they'll still argue with me that they're right. And it's like, damn, that's very harsh. So it's not about the right information. You didn't care about what's right. You just cared that I was wrong. That's what you cared about. You want me to be wrong. And that's why I said it that way. The whole wanting me to be wrong. It's one thing to think I'm wrong, then I prove that I'm not wrong, and then you're like, oh, okay, you're not wrong. Sorry that I thought you were wrong. And then leave it at that. No. Even with proof that I'm right and you're wrong, it's still not enough. It doesn't matter. Because it wasn't about what was right. It's about you wanting me to be wrong. More so than anything. You don't even care that you're wrong, and I have proof that you're wrong. You just wanted me to be wrong. So if I found information that proved we were both wrong, you would actually be happy, because as long as I'm wrong, that's all you care about. As long as I'm wrong. You might have heard that scenario before, where somebody's like, I don't need to win as long as you don't win, right? It's like that weird scenario where it's like somebody's so mad at someone else that they don't care that they don't benefit in any shape or form from the situation. They just want to make sure that someone else doesn't benefit. That's spite. That's hate right there. That's true hate right there. When, because I've seen that scenario happen many times before, where somebody would literally do something to cause somebody else a problem, prevent somebody else from achieving something or getting something they wanted. And it wasn't because that person, they themselves wanted it instead. No, they just want to prevent the other person from getting it. It's like, damn, that's so disrespectful. We can understand and respect that you wanted that. I use the cock blocking concept. I understand if another man, tries to cock block because he wants the woman. But I can't understand is the man cock blocking and doesn't want the woman. That's really fucked up. To me, that's worse than him wanting her. If he cock blocks so he can get sex with her, that's understandable. Then we were just competing. We both wanted the same woman, and fair and love and war, as they say, right? We were competing for her, right? And I just didn't compete well enough if he succeeded in cock blocking, right? But if he cock blocked, right, but didn't have no interest in the woman, then that's just disrespectful. That's a personal thing, right? So then it's like, okay, what did I do to this man to even, get that type of outcome, right? I could literally have done nothing. He probably just really wanted to cock block, and then that's it. Just stopping me from getting something was more than enough to make him happy, right? But there are people like that, in both male and female genders, right? That's unfortunate. But, again, back to the silence thing is like, it's not that we don't want to hear what you have to say. It's just we want it to be positive. Because in other words, the whole silence thing is if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Be silent if all you have is negative things to say, right? If all that's going to come out of your mouth is disrespect and negativity, then be quiet, right? Be silent. That's all that the silence thing means. It's not that what you have to say doesn't matter. It's not you can't have no input, and stuff. It's just that a lot of times, which is ironic, is that most women tend to make things difficult. You probably heard this before, is a man will ask a woman where she wants to eat, and she makes a big deal about it. She makes it difficult. It's like, damn, don't you, choose someplace to eat? And instead of telling you that it's like, no, she wants to eat wherever you want to eat, right? Instead of letting you know that she just wants to go wherever you go. So whatever you're going to eat, she wants to eat it too. She wants to share a meal with you, eating what you're eating. So she doesn't want to choose. And it'd be nice if women were like that. I mean, I make a habit of I will ask a woman out of respect, especially if she's a modern woman, or just in case she's a modern woman, I'll ask her where she wants to go, what she wants to eat and stuff like that. Because in general, I ask guys in general, with my male friends, I ask them hey, want something to eat? Where you want to eat at? McDonald's, Domino's, some healthy restaurant, Subway, whatever. Want to order hoagie sandwiches, lettuce, tomatoes, whatever, salads or something. What you want to eat? And usually it's not a problem. They usually know what they want, and I work with it. But if a woman, knows what she wants to eat, that's great. If she doesn't know what she wants to eat, then okay. Then I'll make some suggestions, and if she makes it difficult when I give suggestions, then I'm gonna quickly go to making a decision. And if she doesn't like it, then so be it, because she made the situation more difficult than it had to be. She didn't choose, and then when I gave her options, she didn't choose, and she just kept making excuses. It's like, all right, I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna get something to eat. If you want to eat what I'm eating, then that's cool. Or if you later on decide you want something to eat, then let me know. But until then, I'm gonna make sure I eat, and I'm not gonna waste a lot of time when I already know what I'm gonna eat. So solution meets problem. So I'll compromise. I'll work. I go through the levels. First, I'll ask her, what she wants. If she doesn't know, quote unquote, right? And doesn't make a quick decision. And it's like, all right, let's move on to options. Here are some options to help you decide. Still not good enough, so you still can't decide, even though I gave you a shitload of options. Fine. The third scenario. I'm take care of this. I'm gonna choose, and yeah, hopefully that helps you understand the whole sex sandwich and silence, ladies, because that's all men want, even in just a relationship, not just marriage, just be in a relationship. All we want is sex sandwich silence. And we say it that way because it's a simple concept, right? It should be easy to understand. Silence as in we don't want a lot of noise, drama, arguments and this and that. That's what we mean by silence. Not that we don't care what you have to say, not that we don't want to hear you talk. It's just that you gotta know how to do it, right? Talk the proper way. Don't talk to be disrespectful. Definitely don't talk to start problems. Men tend to talk to solve problems or just to communicate. Here's the thing about talking, which is so annoying to me to see how people are. It's like the reason we speak is to transfer information, right? I'm telling you something that I know about or that I heard about. I'm transferring the information to you by telling you about it. What you do with it is on you, but do not disrespect me for telling you something. If I tell you, hey, look, there's this YouTube channel that has a lot of great exercise tips. I'm just giving you information. What you do with it doesn't matter to me. That's on you. But don't disrespect me or talk about fat shaming, blah blah blah, because you told me this information. Like, really, I'm just sharing some information. What you do with it, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me. And stop adding extra stuff to what I said. If all I said was there's a channel with great exercise tips, then that's all I said. There's nothing more to it. Stop trying to assume there's more to what I say than what I actually said. I said what I said for a reason, because I wanted you to have the information, And that's the thing, and communication is important, right? If a man tells you, can you leave him alone, then it's because he wants to be left alone. He wants to think, he wants to have very little human interactions, because more likely certain human interactions is what cause him to be in that that state of mind where he doesn't want human interaction. I know my personal experience is that I personally don't want someone. Like when I have a problem, or when there's something is a problem for me, I don't want people asking me about my problem. Right? I don't want people, trying to figure out what the problem is and asking me, what's wrong and this and that. There, I prefer they don't do that. It's like whatever problem I'm having, I'm dealing with it. If I couldn't deal with it or wasn't trying to deal with it myself, I would have already told you. I would have came to you and told you my problem, with the intent of you helping me solve it. Because maybe you have a solution, or maybe you could suggest a way I can solve the problem. But if I don't tell you my problem, it's because I'm trying to deal with it myself, and I'm more likely am dealing with it. It could just be, just a state of mind. It's just like, yeah, the problem is somebody said something to me and made me feel a certain type of way, and right now I'm just processing, as the term goes. So right now I'm just processing the situation. That's it. And I'm trying to overcome it, right? Trying to deal with it, on my own. So that's where the signs come in. Just be quiet, right? Leave me alone. I don't need help. I'm not asking for no help. Do not, talk to me with the intent of trying to figure out what's wrong, as if I need you to help me solve it when I don't. If I need you, I will ask for you. I'm not against asking for help. But first and foremost, I will always try to solve a problem myself first, and then when I see that I can't, or it's difficult, or I need help, then I will ask for it. But do not assume that I need help until I actually ask for it. When I need help is when I need it. I notice that's another thing that happens in my life that's annoying. When I don't need help, that's when people want to help me. But when I do need help, no one wants to help me. Ain't that ironic? When I actually need help, people don't want to help. There's no one around when I actually need help. But when I don't need help, everybody's just quick to offer help. Like, oh, I'll help you this, I'll help you that. It's like, why are you trying to help me when I don't need it? I don't need your help. But when I did need your help, you were nowhere to be found. Oh well, that's the end of the podcast.